This is Weird Renegade Witches blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website in the direct link, and also it's in the description area. Of course, is waywardrenegadewitchesblog.com. And of course, lessons have already ended. But however, you already know that wayward is about revenge, redemption, responsibility. That's spell work. But of course, you understand that the lessons are separate. The 101s that I do monthly are separate from the energies. If you want to have your weekly lessons, which also connects into spell work, or sometimes we could do separate lessons without work. Okay, so understand those are two different frequencies. But I'm just want to get right into something, because we already know that art is occultism. Occultism is an art. And I'm just coming back with another one right now because I've kind of been on a little bit of hiatus. But however, I had seen some questions in the comments that I found, well, some energies in the comments that I found very interesting, that I just wanted to answer really quickly. Okay, and something that I found, that considering that we're in the month of August, I talked about the supermoon and so on, is the Aquarius energy. So therefore, I noticed something where the Aquarius said that they're having some frequencies going on this month. And remember, I said your original position as an entity, because I'm going to call the astrology entities. So I'm going to speak very layman about astrology and what it is, because again, that's what the world is using to control the mass and the mechanisms. This astrology is what they're using to control you and to read into you. So understand there has been a shifting, and they shift the energies of Aquarius, as we know, Aqua, as we call it, the Ice Queens, as we call it, Neptune, and those type of energies, and the darker side of course, Saturn. We just want to have a little bit of conversation here, right? So anyway, we have to understand the shifting was when they had replaced the Aquarius with the Cancer frequency, and then moved the Pisces up on top, and then moved the Scorpio down, where in reality it was supposed to be the Scorpio really on top, surprisingly, and then taking turns with Aquarius. That can work well. Sometimes Aquarius and of course Scorpio, they can war with each other, but it flips back and forth. However, we're in an interesting energy that, as they call this, Leo month. But however, if we was for giggles and laughs and look at it, now remember in the other video I said Leo stays in the middle. Here's the funny thing: Leo never goes up, it goes down. So it shifts back in the third house. So if we were to put the Aquarius back in its home place, because you're homesick, because you should really be under the frequencies of water, because remember I said in my last video, water energy, when you are the original frequencies, right? That was in the place, and that was incorporated with the water frequencies. It's almost like winter, ice, Antarctica, that type of frequency. But at the same time, you guys, it's kind of like, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So anyway, so it shifts down. Here you are, Aquarius. So therefore, you're having a lot of mental frequencies. Some people say a form of depression, maybe a little bit of hopelessness. Maybe people out there hating on your frequencies. They hating on what you doing, and you're absorbing that frequency, how emotional and sensitive you are, and it pulls from the gut. So we have to understand these frequencies that's going on in the universal soul. However, if we talk practically, you guys keep living practically, because they have froze and covered your true frequencies as it is in the spirit, because you guys keep pulling from the practical measures that you see in visual form, instead of tapping into the spirit and trusting what you not see. You're trusting what you do see, and that is the downfall of why you're having a lot of frequencies, a lot of trouble, and a lot of pulling. Let alone if they're up here talking about in the astrology world that Leo is your shadow self. Then if Leo pulls itself down, it pulls your energies down with it. Okay, but furthermore, the darker part and darker twins that people don't talk about is the darker part of the Aquarius is also the Cancer, and the Cancer darker part is also the Aquarius, and people will assume it's the Capricorn, but it's really the Aquarius, because Cancer can also pull in funny ways the Aquarius energy, and you could kind of see people are very interesting, but they could kind of twin each other, but that's a whole other energy that's above your pay grade. However, if we was to say mean girl giggles and laughs, so then they have the audacity to move the Aquarius in between a Cap energy, which is Capricorn, and then Pisces, which are both selfish energies and within their own zone. But the Aquarius may feel a pull sometime because you got the Pisces right there. It's almost like the story tell of Yemaya and Oya, and you look at Aquarius as Oya, Yemaya as, of course, that the Pisces energy. But then it goes into effect if we was to even talk about our system, our energies, our frequencies. So for example, we can even look at what has been stolen, because the Pisces energy also steals from the energies of Aquarius. Okay, so therefore Aquarius is sitting there like, oh shit, I'm here by my fucking self, let me go to Aries. So then they go to Aries like, what coming the fuck on? And then they cool in the gang, they fall out. Then Aquarius is up there chopping it up with Aries. They so good somebody's listening to them and frequencies, and Aries is falling in love with the frequencies and the foundation and all involved. So then, but not knowing that, and we just talking giggles and laugh again, this is above your pay grade. Like I said, I do stuff and talk about things that other people may not deal with or talk about or whatever. I don't give a fuck what you think or whatever. However, so then we have this other frequency as we talk about the spinal cord fluid, which is your spinal cord fluid. Some people are simple and call it the Kundalini effect. So you have your spinal cord fluid, which is what in the energies of, again, Aqua, what we call Aquarius, and it's moving back and forth in the frequencies. It's giving life. It's the heart of the body. It's the movement. It's the emotion. It's so important, right? But just imagine you have this, and call that the Oya effect, because a lot of times they go and combine air with Oya, but they never talk about the whole other folkloric story of Yemaya stealing the position from Oya, and where in reality Yemaya should be, as they say, the keeper of the cemeteries. Okay, which Yemaya would be the frequencies of the large and small intestines. You see, the underworld, the frequencies, the mess, the secret place. So we have to understand where energies are pulled. See, they want to tell you about all this Greek shit and all this stuff, but they don't tell you about other practices and other folklores and other beliefs and other frequencies that also connect. So basically, any energies that an Aquarius is having right now is due to, as we say, being homesick. Okay, as we talk about breeze, stuff like that, which is also connected to the Aqua energy, Aquaman, Alaku, and all of that other shit. We don't see how simple we are, because we so busy looking at what they tell us. I don't give a fuck what it is and what it ain't. It's the folkloric of the frequencies, and kind of understand the emotions. Some people be like, just go to a psychologist, go to a psychiatrist, you do what you want to do. But there's always a folkloric frequencies connected to what is going on, just to say all of that, but just to understand the frequency. So that's why the true position was supposed to have been at the top, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Pisces. Then you could flip the Aquarius, put Scorpio back in the middle. Then you could flip it again, but then they went and pulled the Pisces, put the Pisces at the top, replaced the Aquarius and then created the energies of the Cancer. The Cancer is in its wrong frequencies, but here we are, and is what it is. Just to have a little bit of a folkloric conversation, like I said, very layman, but as we talk a little bit about, of course, the Aquarius energies. However, Kamala Harris. So anyway, there's this Democratic frequency going on, liberal energies that they didn't pull it out the rabbit's hat as they're up here talking about Kamala Harris. Allegedly, the Republicans are saying Kamala Harris should be disqualified of running for presidency. And I found it very interesting. I just want to see something really quick before I speak. Apparently, people are all in their feelings because of this interesting frequency that has uprooted itself, and the Republicans are finding a way to disqualify Kamala Harris running for presidency. And the way that I'm looking at this frequency is fake outrage and sensationalism, and to create a fear and frequency to make Black people believe that they don't belong on this land. Okay, so let's just have a conversation. Let's just do a hypothetical. Let's be conspiracy theorists here, right? So anyway, it's a frequency out here. Republican group cites notorious Dred Scott ruling as reason Kamala Harris can't be president. So it's an energy called Scott ruling. And let me see here. And it says the National Federation of Republican Assemblies, NFRA, has cited the infamous 1857 Dred Scott Supreme Court decision, which stated that enslaved people weren't citizens, to argue that vice president. Okay? And basically, in so many words, they're saying that Kamala Harris doesn't qualify to run according to the Constitution and so on, and allegedly Black people under this particular law, we're going to say, right? And I found it very interesting how we don't ask questions. We don't understand anything. First of all, government was created by our ancestors, by our Black ancestors, in some kind of way, and nobody has really answered the question, how in the fuck did the white people come and colonize the original people who created government? And the original government of our ancestors were Republicans who created that, as we call we the people. They changed and created a whole different history that they're not talking about, that in Congress, under the assembly, and so on, were all melanated Black people, the original people who created and designed and pushed certain laws. So I'm a little confused on what that is. How did that process happen? How did all this colonialism shit? Who are these colonizers? Did they drug the people? Did they give them alcohol? because we have to reevaluate government. Government was not created by these individuals. It was, as they call, remember back, I used to call them weak DNA, but these white folks. So we need to understand what the hell is going on and how they're creating what is black. Under this also frequency, it includes, as they call, Native Americans. Now you have to remember the original indigenous, copper, aborigines, whatever you want to call yourself, were what? Melanated black people, melanated people. So they wanted to make sure they cover all grounds as they create their 1700 laws and more, as they came in and killed, murdered, disenfranchised, put in different parts of the world, no effect of the different, our ancestors, our people. We don't know what the fuck is going on. Things are now uprooting, aren't they? So under this Dred Scott ruling, they're saying in so many words, she's a non-citizen because of enslaved energies. Because, so what, in so many words, it's like they're trying to say that we all are not supposed to be in government because we come from enslaved energies. Well, can we reevaluate what that is? Let's look at Kamala Harris for a moment, because we got to understand the bewitchery and witchcraft. We have to understand words. First of all, we don't know shit about Kamala Harris. All we know is allegedly her mother is Indian, her father's Jamaican. We also have to understand the internment camps, the slave encampments, the locations of where they were holding a lot of slaves, let's just use slaves, were on the islands. Jamaica was one of them. So in that case, her mother came from Canada. So here's the question. Was her mother part of the people who were enslaved? So we have to remember part of the slavery were also the Chinese people and the Indians. And they also, we're going to say, stored and put a lot of the Indians and Chinese in different parts of South America and Caribbean islands. Okay, so we have to understand as for enslavement purposes. So right now we're going to talk about Jamaica. So in Jamaica, they enslaved Indians and Chinese, which incorporated American natives. We're going to say American natives, which was our melanated people, which was the original people in the Americas, and put them right there. And then, of course, we had different energies coming from different parts of the world. Okay? Now, when we talk about that enslavement, we automatically look at the United States, but we never think about South America. We never think about the energies pulled from that lower part of South America into Jamaica, into Haiti, and so on. So anyway, technically, they're right. She's a non-citizen. Both of her parents were immigrants. Both of her parents have a history of enslavement, the Jamaicans and the Indians. So technically, her people were not born in America. Technically, was she ever born in America? Is she from Canada? Where is she from? So one, where does she originate from? Her original origins, is she from Canada? Or was she born and raised in America? The other part of it is, technically, her parents were part of this slavery energy. Nobody want to talk about white racism, Jim Crow, civil rights movement, of how the white people would cater and not fuck with people from the islands and even some parts of Africa. they will only be racist and funky towards who? The Americans or the American blacks that were here. Okay? They would distinctly ask, are you an American, or where are you from? Where are you from a country where, and then treat you accordingly. Okay, see, they don't talk about that part of the frequencies here in America. So we have to look at this slowly and wisely and understand the bewitchery and the understanding of words. Technically, that don't belong to you if your parents and your descendants were right here, born and raised in America, because technically you are not a citizen. A citizen is someone who has their visas, green cards, and so on, and they become a citizen of the United States. If you are born and raised here, you are considered a nationalist. Okay, because you have a bloodline, you have an energy that is here. Kamala Harris does not have, allegedly, an energy that connects to the United States. Meaning, we don't know if she's from Canada. Indians were enslaved. Jamaicans were enslaved. And both of her people come from other countries that come into. So technically, she's considered not basically almost like a citizen, but almost an immigrant. That's how the Republicans are playing the Dred Scott ruling. And I know this is above your pay grade because you're only looking at the surface, but I just ask that you look at it and break it down a little bit closer here, because we have to be careful when white folks are playing with words. So you got to remember, they're taking something that was on earth and putting it into social media, and you're going to read it in the cyber frequency, but you got to take your ass out of the cyber for a minute, get your ass, put your feet back on earth and read it accordingly and break down what the fuck are they really saying, and then look at her. Because if you compare her to Obama, you'll be like, well, what's the difference? Obama black, da-da-da-da. And his father was an immigrant and da-da-da-da. However, or African. Here's the kicker. In reality, we don't know shit about Africa. When you start to look at the Igbos and when you start to look at the Yorubas, it would make you look at Mexico and Aztec and Mayan Indians, that those were the original Igbos and Yorubas, even though that's a name change, that those were the origins, the real people, the real nationalists of Mexico, and they colonized that and pushed them out and then give them little parts of Mexico to give you some energy. So notice they are very careful when they talk about Africa, because Africa, a lot of the people that are there are really nationalists of the United States. Furthermore, Obama's mother allegedly was an American woman. They were talking about the grandparents were in the picture of one of, was it John F. Kennedy or whoever who was assassinated, and they took a picture, compared it to Obama's grandparents, and them people look just alike. So we have to understand the guidelines. So technically, even though the people look and say, oh, well, his father was an immigrant and da-da-da-da, but in reality, again, we don't know what the fuck is going on in history, how people were kidnapped, maneuvered, pushed around. Literally, wouldn't it make sense to wipe them out here, put them on them islands, and then shift them into this other energies? Like what is Liberia really about? What is the lie? All of it is a lie. I'm just saying, look at things for what it is and break it down. So that would make sense to why he was able to run for his presidency, because of the American frequencies that connect to him. Kamala Harris, technically, as in some cases they say, a female is what her father is, a male is what his mother is. So technically she's Jamaican. Okay, let's break that down. Well, what the fuck is her father, and what type of Jamaican is he? Because he's a very light man. Is he Indian? Does he have Chinese bloodline? What is the frequency there? So the Republicans are absolutely right according to the Dred Scott ruling. Do you understand? This is the energy that runs the reparation scam. Because if we stop and think for a moment, we should be fighting to be nationalists so we could get the land that our original ancestors were on. And if they couldn't move you out the way and kill you out the way, they just drowned you out with reservoirs and lakes and so on. Or they just planted trees and gardens over your ancestors. Downright put you on an island across from Manhattan. What's it called? Hart Island. Then you wondering why New York has bad juju. The Republicans are right. And you don't want to compare freedmen to this type of energy. Because freedmen were really our native Aboriginal ancestors who were old. That's a whole other frequency that we're not talking about here. And yes, it is spell work. Yes, it is bewitchery. Yes, it's bringing up something very interesting, but we should investigate it a little bit closer and not look at the frequencies in such a liberal manner and break words down. Air and fire. So technically, no, she does not qualify to run as a nationalist, as an American. Oh, wayward, you don't make sense. I make sense. I'm just above your pay grade when it comes up to bewitchery and witchcraft. Anyway, we were talking about yesterday Mariah Carey's mother, Mariah Carey's sister. So apparently the sister had AIDS. And I said, allegedly. So which one is it? But what it is. Somebody forwarded me an energy of another person, I guess a person on YouTube blogging, saying Serena Williams and Venus Williams lost their mother during the weekend also. I don't even think Mr. Williams is alive, to be honest with you. I think they straight bullshitting us. However, the mother dies, and I had to look at it. I said, Lo and behold, the mother is an Aries. And remember, in my last video, I talked about the Aries frequency, okay? These people are on some astrology shit. They on some energy stuff. And remember I said, this is after the super moon, the super blue moon. But here's the weird thing. So in the video, I listened, I heard it. And the woman, the blogger, said she died again this past weekend. So I'm looking it up. It's nowhere on social media. So how did that woman know that Serena Williams' mother died? What's happening here? And they knew exactly when she died. Just like they said Wendy Williams died, but she then showed up somewhere. David Letterman died. Montel Williams died. This is all in the cyber world. But what's happening in the real world? What is on earth is not in heaven anymore, because they're cybering us with this type of information and all these fucking rituals. And they're fucking with time. Because where you think you done seen something, you didn't see it. It's not real. None of this is real that we're seeing. You can't even say you real. Right? And I've been just kind of looking at some things, some energies. Just really quick. And I've been wondering, what the fuck is really going on here? And people are talking. Yesterday I talked about Jaguar Wright. On social media it says Jaguar Wright might get killed after this. Are we sure she's alive? Are we sure that Jaguar Wright is alive? How you know you're not looking at a full cyber video? If they're saying here, and we're going to say allegedly, because I'm reading this from someone else's energy. How do you know you're really talking to Jaguar Wright? How do you know this woman is really alive? We're always looking at something from the outside that look like it's from the inside, but it's really from the outside. That's called cyber bewitchery and witchcraft. A Korean single dad. My wife died of cancer. Now I am struggling looking for an African God-fearing woman, 20 to 43 years old. Maybe 48. He's a pilot and he's financially stable. I'm ready to travel to Africa to meet her. What is the prostitution and what is the new money grab? And I told you there's going to be a new economic status frequency in Africa. You got on social media, there are Asian men and these new forms of white guys and so on that's specifically targeting Africa after they done sat up, built these fucking or created these fucking trap houses, and all their men just about are on drugs, abusive and fucked up, don't have jobs. I'm not saying all, but I'm looking at the truth of the matter. Children being stolen, and then Asian men tend to go for the little girls. And then you're having more and more little African girls, basically between the ages of 11 on up, basically getting pregnant. And they're going to these villages. Some of you, I talked about this with the African men that they have doing those greetings. That is orchestrated by Asian men. What the fuck is going on here? We don't have any questions. Where's your conscious community talking about this, Dr. Umar motherfucking Johnson? Y'all niggas still out here talking about star seed readings? Hypersexuality is not infidelity. It's an ADHD response. You see how they playing you? So motherfuckers gonna be running around here talking about I'm not hypersexual. I just have ADHD because I'm impulsive and my dick just went in that pussy. The bizarre shit, they done went back and reinvestigated that. What's his name? Tafari Campbell, the Obama chef. They saying he knew something and he seen something. Actress Melinda Williams, recognized for her films like Soul Food and more, now champions STEM initiatives for women at HBCU. I have a question. Myself and another spiritual constituents went to research her, to look up her degrees, to see if she had a bachelor's or some kind of master's or PhD. And we was like, oh, it ain't shit showed up about her education. Not even a fucking AA degree. So how is she paying the cost to be the boss when there's no education behind her? We need to investigate this, of who and what is financing the background of these uneducated people being the head of certain frequencies at these black colleges. I mean, in a minute they're going to give her an honorary, then it's going to shut us all down, or they'll create a degree for her. We just have questions, because what we found out is that she just have a high school diploma. And that's why I say, damn, she don't even have an AA. Government lab in Maryland plans to create a hybrid monkeypox strain that is more deadly than the one currently spreading in the U.S. Mail online. Biological warfare? I mean, what's going on here? What's this? Abba Hagen, the U.S.-based Guinean, arrested for inserting ginger on son's anus. This type of practice has been going on for a long time, and they even put it in the eyes, the vagina, in addition to, of course, the hot chili powder. And I seen this frequency actually done in European cultures beforehand, and it's very interesting how a lot of European culture has been adopted, and this form of capital punishment in melanated culture. Taraji Henson going broke, so that makes a lot of sense to her behavior. Star lists 2 Chicago condos. Were they her condos or whoever rented it to her? Chloe Bailey Trouble in Paradise album fails to chart on Billboard. They need to restructure her and reimage her and stop trying to make her a hoe when she should be singing with opera singers and more, and she should be in a different frequency. they keep lowering her value, and her value is not low. She has a great performance and frequency and variations with her, how her voice flow, but they keep trying to make this girl a hoe when she should be in a different frequency. Big Frida on Gracie's Corner. Some people saluted this and said, great move for Big Frida to have her on this children's cartoon. I call it a disgrace and mayhem behavior. 7th grade students performing at 4th grade level. I believe that the parents are nowadays, of course, are not investing in their children. The educational system has crashed. Kids don't know how to handwrite, read, social media. They're writing their papers on these, what they call them, these notebooks or whatever, iPads and all of that. So therefore, they intentionally making them lower level type of thinking and behavior. And to be honest with you, a lot of these parents don't have any sense either, because the educational system falls back on the parents. If your kid is fucking up, it is your responsibility to make sure they're educated. Okay, a lot of these teachers, they don't have any senses either. But I have questions about a lot of these teachers and where in the fuck did they come from. Shaba Ranks back in the day used to hang out with Trump. On an energy they showed on CNN News, it Trump was somewhere and it said President Trump. I said, bitch. Wells Fargo Bank is being sued for fake interviews with black candidates while positions were already filled. That happened with my son also with Walmart, that they'll set up for giggles and laugh and affirmative actions, and also to get money, they'll set up and act like they want to interview you and not hire you and all that stuff. This is fake. They're hiring other people. And I see that they doing ass backwards again with that whole, we're going to identify you by your last name and not contact you. Shar Jackson arrested for domestic battery after altercation with boyfriend. This Shar Jackson, have been having difficulty for a very long time, especially after when she started, when she had messed around with that damn, what's his name? Is it Cornelius? Beyonce's son and Solange's nephew. Yeah. This girl has a lot of those issues that I see brewing, that when you're in the acting world and they mount all of those characters on you and you have a volatile energy and a frequency and you don't know who you are, and at the end of the day, she's going to have a downfall. It's going to be a frequency with her. She's been kind of down. Then this coon story about this cafeteria woman stealing over millions of dollars of chicken wings. That sound like a fake ass story to me. That sound like a nigga story with their cyber bewitchering. Little Tykeston sat up and clowned with their clown suits that they up here having my first ankle monitor. Then you have a little black kid with a fucking, what they call, not a word up, but with his hair shade, whatever they call that style. But this damn ankle monitor is a motherfucker. You see how they keep trying to get us ready for their shit, but we're not outraged about that shit. We outraged about dumb shit. A shit that's basically none of our fucking business. However, this was very interesting to me. Saucy Santana and his mother talk about his childhood trauma, says he holds no grudges. And I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, doesn't be kidding and saying that, but talked about his background and told me what he went through as a child and so on. And I was looking at his mom and I said she looked like a Generation X mother. And I was just telling my spiritual constituents, I said, I'm having a lot of problems with Generation X mothers because we are not very good mothers. We're trying to be our kids instead of raising our kids. And she was out and about doing her thing as what it is. And you know, the funny thing is, as much as I talk shit about Saucy Santana, I actually like his energy. I know guys like him, and I can see that he's troubled, you know, and he gets a pass. He's troubled, you know. and he only became his mom, and they look just alike, you know, and the psychological warfare that goes on, you know, right here. This is a spell, it's a curse, it's a foundation. And when I really peeped him, I said, I'm wondering if all of them things that happened to him, would he have been gay? But let's put the gay, a homosexual type of frequencies. I don't believe not. I believe that frequency, he's immolating his mother. He's immolating the woman that she was supposed to be. And he absorbed and mounted her energy of what he projected her to be. And that's what he became. He became his mom. A lot of guys who are like this, and what I call the homosexual experience and frequencies, always have some kind of energies with their mother, and they end up immolating the women or woman around them that they feel a woman should be. So we have to be careful when we look at some of these people who are trans or cross-dressers or dress as women. A lot of it is psychological warfare. A lot of it is issues and trauma that they are in an act to become what that enemy is, but a better version. Is like a lesbian, and you look at a stud, well, she's going to be a better version of a man. Okay, and they will be the man to that woman, because that man was not good to them. That man was not good to their mother, so they're going to be that dude. A boy, as a feminine frequency, is going to be his mother. He's going to be the woman that she was supposed to be, and he's going to be that energy to a man, what his mother should have been, and immolate the culture of what he believed that is. It's a whole psychological warfare, especially in the Black community. They say city boys up. Beyonce mom ordered to pay ex-husband $300K. When did they get divorced? First they were together, then they get divorced. Now they together. Now she's paying him $300. And I'm looking at this. I said, what secrets does he know that he was wait a minute. Let me take that back. He's done his job. He's getting his money. He only charged $300K. He knows shit. He's done his job. He's an actor. He done did his wizard warlock, helped her with shit. There you go. He's done his job, so he's getting his payment. Maybe he was sent in to do some frequencies, and he's getting his payment. Let me stop playing with these people. So we have, you know, our men out here, you know, because apparently men are the prize. We have men trying out period cramp stimulators. Great prize, men. You're such a great prize. Jada Pinkett Smith is reportedly furious. Husband Will Smith friendship with Johnny Depp has him acting single. Well, they look good together. That's always been his man, probably. He tired of your ass. He just said, fuck it, let me go with Johnny Depp. Shit. As you're being distracted with shit, Kamala Harris backed President Biden 44.6% capital gains tax proposal, the highest in history, as you're distracted. The proposal also includes a 25% tax. As you guys are distracted, but you guys were out there protesting, judge rules Breonna Taylor's boyfriend caused her death. So that means that there's no lawsuit. I'm doing a video. Yeah, what's wrong? You need me? Oh. Wu-Tang rapper Ghostface Killah's son, who is transitioning, calling his father out for abandoning him. So I would like to know who and what and where this act going on with Ghostface Killah's son and this frequency of him becoming a woman. Is it Ghostface Killah sacrificing the son? Or is it an energy of the industry coming in to say, hey, do this, da-da-da-da. What is this about? What is the background? What was he sold into? I mean, I have to look at it for what it is. If his father's in the industry, then we don't know what this is, and this is none of our business because they bullshitting us. Anyway, this energy walking around here when they're talking about somebody for it over be Biggie Smalls, all in, they're talking about it again, that Biggie Smalls all up in a relationship with a trans, I'm gonna say a trans man, okay? And I'm like, okay, that's nothing. What it is? That's what them niggas were doing, right? And so anyway, you're hearing these men out here saying that they've been grooming us in all these videos with these women men, and I'm to the conclusion, fuck what you saying. You knew those were women men, and you wanted to fuck them women men, and we need to start taking responsibility of what the fuck we know, because we're not children. Nobody can sit up here and keep grooming you to something and you find out and you know what it is. And when you do find out, it doesn't mean you gotta fuck with it. You could be in your shockment, you can be in your amazement. But I'm about sick and tired of black people not taking responsibility for a lot of the shit that they're into. Okay? Because the bottom line is that you are a man. You can't sit up as a man and say, I've been groomed. You know fucking well when you find out or when you see something that's impure, then you should step back and you should handle what your feelings are, your emotions, and where your prostate gland, I'm going to say, moves into the frequencies of it, the energies of it. You know what the fuck is going on with your prostate gland. You know the feelings that you get. You know if, dang, that's fucked up. Hey, this is how I feel. How do I analyze that? This is the way of the world. You niggas out here be out here, especially you conscious niggas, the frequencies, God, I'm a God, I'm a this, I'm a that. But you can't handle a fact when the universal soul of the government, CIA, whoever you want to call it, trying to tempt you to be out here with something as you call impure, and you go fuck with it anyway. That's not a them problem. That's a motherfucking you problem. Somebody brought something to my attention that I found very interesting. Remember I said that these apps are nothing but housing aliens. I seen this energy called Jerkmate. So basically it's an app called Jerkmate where you can sit there with someone else and jerk your dick off with them, you know, on this app. Okay, and that reminded me of Seth, Set, and Horus effect. And it's a little bit energy because there's still another folklore that Horus may have been, we're gonna keep it real, keep it right, keep it simple, a transsexual too. So all of that fighting of ejaculation and sperm, and then when you start to look at the energies of Set, it taps back in, or Seth, it taps back into dog, it taps back into your Orisha Ogun, it taps into all of that energy, right? But the funny thing is, within the word, you supposed to have edit, because if we are in our will, we supposed to understand that sometimes our will gets us into frequencies. Well, anyway, I'm going to say a gay spiritual constituents went and forwarded me some frequencies on this porn site and had me look at it, because the white man started talking about root chakras. And I don't want near motherfucker to tell me a fucking thing about no root chakra. That shit had me in a fucking rabbit hole. Yeah, I was looking at gay porn. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm listening, I'm looking, and I'm skipping over stuff. The conscious community straight gooped and gamed the women and gooped and gamed us. Now shit is very interesting. Now I'm going to look at it from a whole other perspective. And I'm going to say this. Let me say this at the top, because I like to tell my qualifications. My son said I should be ashamed of myself, and I should never want to admit this, because he said that's like me saying I'm a crack baby. But I like to, because I'm going to talk about the prison system, but I like to tell my qualifications. I like to say that My mother, of course, was dating my father, who had been in and out of the prison system. She later on married him at St. Quentin Prison. I was conceived in fucking St. Quentin Prison. I was going on family visits. I would visit my father in jail. I would have visits from people giving me Christmas toys because my father didn't sign me up for a jail program. In addition to, my father had in California, my father has been to Folsom Prison, Vacaville Prison, Crescent County, St. Quentin, and Susanville. You will wonder, damn, when was he your father? Well, I have to admit, he did better than a lot of these niggas out in the street. So I like to tell my qualifications of, so you understand that I'm just not talking to sweet talking. I hope that I could talk to about prison stuff because I have fucking questions here, right? So anyway, as I started to look at this movie, the individual, the acting, he said, hey, have you ever had your root chakras checked? He was supposed, the whole scene was the man was coming in to see a psychologist. The psychologist, of course, you know that whole scene, right? So I said, why is he talking root chakras? I'm intrigued. So the man went down, said the root chakra, of course, is the lower part of the spine, near the anus. Next thing you know, he all up in the ass. And then I said, and I'm thinking, so you got conscious community life coaching, talking about root chakras. You have Marlon Wayans on his fucking back. Talking about lower, in this movie, talking about lower back pain. The man was rubbing it like that man. Wait a minute, what? You got Nature Boy, who was in this type of porn. In the number system, it was more men in the house than women. They saying that allegedly Nature Boy getting his ass kicked in jail. You got his tribal women all looking crazy in their feelings. You got the conscious community all fuck up the ranch. But then in prison, wait a minute. Don't they deal with women men? Is that why more and more black women are looking like women men? The ballroom to prison pipeline? What the fuck is going on here? I'm confused. So you got the conscious community talking about chakras, life coaching, Kama Sutra, because they could study Kama Sutra in prison, semen, what's it called? Semen retention. Are you telling me all this motherfucking time we have been under some gay ass prison shit? Are you telling me black women didn't change themselves into women men to accommodate these conscious niggas and it rolled out into the universal soul because we are really immolating men in prison? Then these men in prison adopt the Hindu religion, which has the woman-man frequency, which has the Kama Sutra energy, which have all of these studies. But all along, we didn't peep in Hollywood. They've been fucking around with fucking Indian and Indonesian culture. Because I was just looking at, what's that damn movie called? Once Upon a Time in America with, oh gosh, what's his name? Robert De Niro, that Jewish movie, and he was smoking heroin in a fucking pipe, from a fucking pipe. But when you was looking, it was Indonesian. Heroin, Indonesia. Conscious community, Erykah Badu, polyamorous. niggas in jail, this new type of sex, niggas ejaculating on you, calling it chakras, having rough sex with women, choking women. That's nigga shit. The fuck? Wait, the underworld. So you telling me they didn't pull the prison out, brought it into prison, but the world's always been prison. But then the men have blanketed Islam. But somebody in the comments was asking, what did I think about Islam? And no, because Islam is gay. Y'all, I'm just saying what it is. Islam gay. And y'all like, and then we don't want to talk because we don't want to say Islam is gay because you're going to you don't know what you're talking about. Well, Allah, well, first of all, Allah, y'all not even practicing the true practices of it. Because the real motherfucker are the women. Because we forget about the Islamic women. They on the same lines as the Hebrew Israelite women. And as women like me, will feel intimidated by Islamic women and Hebrew Israelite women. And I've learned I'm not going to be intimidated by that anymore. Because it's all bullshit. Because as your Islamic woman is at home, what the fuck is your man doing with the lady boys? Islam. So then you have this new energy of the Islam extremists who have a hatred towards women. The fuck? So you telling me we're out here doing BBLs, breast, face, augmentations, clown makeup, all this, wigs or whatever, to look like a man in jail? And most men in jail have issues with their mamas. But isn't the rap energy prison, conscious community prison, chakras, this man in a video said you need to take 8 breaths, hold at 4, exhale at 3, breathe, massage, stretching. He was stretching him. Don't think normal. Think about what works for you. That's what he said in the video. I think to further notice, we need to leave these, I'm going to keep it saying, these black men alone. We need to do some investigation. We need to investigate ourselves. We need to investigate the cyber energy in the industry. And the bottom line, we're not knocking what you do, but how in the fuck does that blanket over into us as being black women? If that's their motherfucking lifestyle and they choose to be with women men, then that's where it is. That's their business. That's their subculture. But they have infiltrated the ballroom scene and created the ballroom scene into a prison pipeline. But that's because some of the frequencies within it fits the prison system. But then they're not talking about in the ballroom scene that they didn't frame and they're holding entertainers and other motherfuckers for hostage because they got fucking information. Because remember that video we did a couple years back when I was at that damn Netflix protest? And the person was up there and the whole protest was about having diversity and trans and gay and whatever, or I think trans, I'm not sure, something with Netflix. It was a whole fiasco, and we went down to that damn protest, and the person was talking, we recorded it, the person was talking and said that he could write a book because he's a trans male. He could write a book and he know a lot of information that he could tell on people. And we forget the ballroom scene is a whole prostitution ring. They get sold, they get put out there, they be doing their thing, especially back in the 80s. Niggas from prison will go fuck with the ballroom scene. So you telling me we are the revenge and redemption and responsibility? You telling me these men have issues out here with their mamas and females in their life, and we're being punished for their shit and for their sexual and for their sexual frequency that was going on in prison? And in their head, the man, the trans man, or whatever they want to call, is emulating the woman that they feel that their mama should have been. This is above y'all pay grade. So black exploitation makes sense, because if you go back to black exploitation, the type of men that was in those movies, the trans men, they would call them faggots and punks. But they'll look just like a woman. But they call them faggots and punks. And I'm not being derogatory, I'm talking about what it is. So you telling me the men in prison having black women look like faggots and punks? What they call them? And then if we go back to them energies, let's do some research. Look at it, compare it. Then your lesbians, the gatekeepers, they not out of it. So then you're creating these type of lesbian type of frequencies. So then you have your lesbians, dykes, studs, and then your bulldaggers. We just talking for educational purposes. We want to talk names. In women's prisons, aren't they studs? And we have more black women out here, stud-like. The bulldaggers, you don't even want your kids around the bulldaggers. Those are the ones that harm your sons, harm your daughters, and harm everything around you. Their minds are a different type of mind. A bulldagger is not a dyke or a stud. Y'all not even lesbians. But you not even realizing, studs, you're emulating a jail culture. And they've created gatekeepers. the bafflement. It's nothing but a trance. It's nothing but a prison. That's a created energy. That's not real. That energy is not real. It's an illusion. That's bewitchery and that's witchcraft. That is spell work. It taps back into the sorority thing that I've been talking about. And my spiritual constituents, I was talking to her about it because she's a sorority girl. And I was telling her about it. And I was talking about it in the video. And she said, hey, I want to add something to that Christian. She said, how about that extreme Christian from them being prostituted is still part of game? Because they are still prostituting within that extreme Christianity, Black China. So when we see the sorority sisters talk about that they denounce sorority, and then now they're in Christian, that is because they are those prostitutes that they've been showing in the Christian church. That means the energies and what I'm alluding to is that Black China is nothing but a fucking madam, allegedly. Christian prostitution, sorority girl turns into a Christian. Christian prostituting. Black China, madam. Kat Von, baptism. Mark Wahlberg, all these people getting into Christianity, those are false prophets. Allegedly. You're going to say allegedly. It's still bullshit, allegedly. My whole video is allegedly. It's a whole conspiracy theory. But it's still bewitchery and witchcraft and rituals. Anyway, this is Wayward Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done.